Good evening and welcome to the Monday, March 22nd, 2021 Litchfield Board of Selectmen meeting. The board has just come out of a paperwork review. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight is our first meeting of the new session of the Board of Selectmen. On March 9th, we had our town meeting and we had two newly elected, re-elected selectmen. We had Ms. Queenan, who was elected for a 2-year term, and myself, Stephen Weber, who was elected for a 3-year term. The first order of business this evening is selectmen appointments. First we have is chairman. Do we have any nominations for chairman?
I nominate Steve.
We have a nomination.
I'll second the motion.
We have a nomination. We have a second. Do we have any other nominations for chairman? Hearing none. All those in favor, Mr. Larry,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch,
Aye.
Ms. Queenan.
Aye.
I will abstain. Motion carries 4-0-1. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you. The next we have vice chairman. Do we have any nominees for vice chair? I would like to nominate Mr. Larry.
I'll second it.
We have a second by Mr. Lynch. Do we have any other nominations? Hearing none. All those in favor, Mr. Larry,
Abstain.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch,
Aye.
Ms. Queenan.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 4-0-1. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Come back.
Next we have is Budget Committee. I know for the last 2 years, Mr. Larry has taken that role for us. Would you like to continue in that capacity for the Board of Selectmen?
Does anybody else want it? Then I will take it. Andrew, you stuck with me again. Sorry, buddy.
Thank you.
Laura's line the other day.
For Planning Board, we did have Ms. Queenan on that, taking over. At one time, she was the vice chair of the board. Would you like to continue or would anybody else like to?
I would like to continue.
Okay. Is everybody good with that?
I'm okay.
All right. Next, we have Recreation Commission. I have been the individual sitting on that due to my ties to baseball and softball, but if there's anybody else who would like Recreation Commission. All right. That said, I will stay with the Recreation Commission. Next, we have the Conservation Commission.
I'll stay there.
I'll stay there. And we have the Heritage Commission. Mr. LaSalle's, are you good with the Heritage Commission?
Sure.
Okay. The next, we have the Capital Improvement Committee. Currently, I've been taking on that role as the chairman. We're to the point now that it's probably just going to be a quarterly meeting since the capital improvement has already been put in place. Is anybody like to sit on that? If not, I'd be more than happy to take it, but.
I recommend you.
I second that.
Next is the Emergency Management Team. That is a weekly call on Wednesdays from 2 or 3, just going over navigating the town through COVID. Presently, I've been taking that call. Is there anybody else who would like to be part of that call or take over?
I can't do it during that time period.
All right, hearing none. And last we have is School Facilities Improvement Committee. Presently, I've been sitting on that. At one time, that was the school capital improvement. And once we got through the capital improvement, they turned it into the school facilities improvement. And it's looking at updates to Campbell, Litchfield Middle School, and potentially the new Griffin coming forward. Is there anybody who would like to take on that? That's once a month they meet, right before the school committee meeting.
Is it a meeting or is it like a virtual thing?
It's a meeting in person. It usually takes
the day?
place at, I think it usually starts at 3:30 and goes to about 4:45.
Is there much of a commitment on that?
So usually it's once a month. You sit in and you talk about, right now we've been talking about HVAC upgrades that are happening at the middle school. And it's just planning, getting to the point where you're going to start talking about presenting how to present a new Griffin Memorial School prior to it going to warrant.
I have quite a bit on my platter, but I might be able to help on that.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll take lead on it, but I'll let you know when the meetings are and you could always come and sit on it
Okay.
too. They're pretty informative.
Okay.
Great. So that completes all of the board's committees assignments. Mr. Brown, will you send a note to all the committees and boards letting them know who the representative will be?
Yes, I will.
Thank you so much.
Just have one question. Are selectmen voting members of these committees?
Yes, they are.
Yep.
Okay.
The only ones that aren't are the budget committee because there's going to be a budget involved with it. And they thought it'd be a conflict of interest, but the selectmen are.
If,
Well, on the budget committee, I'm talking about the budget committee on the school one.
Yep.
On the school
if
and on capital improvement.
if a selectman cannot attend the meeting, can an alternate go in his place?
Correct, yeah. That's what we've tried to do in the past. If somebody can't make a meeting to reach out to another selectman, so at least one of us can have representation at all the meetings.
If you send out a group text or a group email to the whole board, somebody will usually step in for you.
Okay.
Okay, next is the review and approval of the consent items. First, we have the account payroll manifest of March 16th, 2021 in the sum of $19,419.53, and March 23rd, 2021 in the sum of $67,548.38. We have a payroll manifest of March 18th, 2021 in the sum of $62,832.66, and March 25th, 2021 in the sum of $57,742.77. We have 3 veteran tax credits in the sum of $2,200. We have the tax collector and treasurer reconciliation. We have an intent to excavate, 2 of them, on map 21, lot 18. And we have an MS 232 report of appropriations. Are there any items members would like to have removed from consent?
One point of reference though, Steve, you said that the AP manifest, the third one, you said 67,548.38. It should read 34.
Oh, thank you.
Somebody will call us on that 4 cents.
All right. Thanks for keeping me honest.
All right, you owe me one.
Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Larry.
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Lynch. Any discussion? All those in favor, Mr. Larry,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch,
Aye.
Ms. Queenan?
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 500. Is there any other business members would like to add this evening?
I just have one comment. The meeting that we had scheduled with legal counsel, just received notice right around 4 o'clock that both attorneys have a conflict, personal conflict that's come up, and they're not going to be able to join us this evening.
They went to the beach.
Have they proposed another date?
So they would, I told them that we'd try to get them in at our next meeting.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Public input will occur no earlier than 6:45 PM this evening. First item of business is the approval of the March 8th, 2021 meeting minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review? If so, are there any changes or comments?
Concur.
Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Larry,
Second.
second by Ms. Queenan. Any discussion? All those in favor, Mr. Larry,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch,
Aye.
Ms. Queenan?
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 500. Next item of business is resignations. First, we have the ZBA, Richard Riley. Mr. Brown.
Yeah, it's with a lot of disappointment, received a resignation from Richard Riley, who's currently the Zoning Board of Adjustment Chairman, who's been chairman for quite some time. Has 18 years of service on that zoning board. And Mr. Riley, I think you all might be aware, but Mr. Riley does more than just chair the zoning board. He does most of the administrative work. So he's our go-to person when we receive applications. He comes into the office, he reviews those applications for completeness. He works with the applicants to make sure that the abutter notices are done correctly. He personally goes to the post office to mail the certify. So he's going to be a tremendous loss to the community. So I will, when they have their next meeting and they elect who's going to be their chair, I'll be working with the ZBA and trying to figure out how we're going to transition, that administrative work. There's been some discussion. Michelle Flynn currently right now does the minutes for the ZBA. She's a very competent individual and has expressed interest in learning from Mr. Riley, how he does some of that administrative work. With that, I also want to have discussions with Michelle and the ZBA chair, and also take a look internally at our own staff too, to see if we can come up with the best solution going forward. One of the things that I've noticed in the last couple of years, and I think it's driven more by, the economy, the housing boom, everyone doing remodeling projects, building garages, in-law apartments, those types of things. We've had a lot of variance requests. Right? We could go, a year and only have 2 or 3, and they would be minor, but it's almost like the ZBA now is meeting on a monthly basis. And some of these variances are more than one variance per case, and they're quite complicated, involving legal counsel to help. So it's just, as we see Litchfield, a lot more development happening in our towns, it does create some activity. I think that, along with other things, it just really got to the point where Mr. Riley, I know he's indicated that I think he's served the community well, and I think he's looking at enjoying some of his free time. So,
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job for the community. Do you know how we're doing on ZBA membership?
so I can't really say. We have, just one appointment this evening to fill an expired term or soon to be expired term. But I think I heard from someone that maybe attendance is low from some of the regular membership. So, I mean, if that's true, we'll have to, again, work with the newly elected chair and see what we can do to.
Okay. Yeah, if you
encourage-
could, that'd be great. And if we do need to get out there and try to round out a few more people to help out, or at least be alternates, so that we have a
Who
strong.
is the newly elected chair?
They don't, the vice chair is Laura Gandia.
Okay.
So, and I'm going to assume that she will volunteer to serve that role, but I really can't make that assumption.
I sent her a gift. Please join.
Well, please, on
She's-
behalf of the Board of Selectmen, send Richard Riley a letter from us thanking him for his years of service to the community.
Does he get a piece of the rock?
We should probably
Good.
consider.
We really should
Definitely
consider, after 18 years of service, especially on the ZBA.
I know, when I was sitting on the board, he was there.
Yeah.
Okay, before I even came here.
Mhm.
I sat there for 9 years. It's a great place to learn stuff.
And the other resignation we have this evening is Kim Queenan. 1 year of service on the hair, no.
You don't get a stone.
But obviously, I think everyone's aware that with being elected as a select person, she is required to step down from the Heritage Commission. We can only have one selectman be a representative on the commission. And the board's made that appointment this evening, Mr. LaSalle's. So I know Kim started this initiative and worked with some interest, other very interested residents. But you really took the lead on this and established the Heritage Commission, bringing it all the way to town meeting vote. I know it's tough for you to let go too, but I know you'll be on the sidelines providing assistance.
Thank you for your efforts in starting that, and
You're welcome.
Mr.
benefit by
Chairman,
having you with us.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the resignation of Tom LeVay from the Conservation Commission.
Okay. We have a motion by Mr.
he-
Lascelles.
Did he submit a resignation? Not that I know of.
Well, in the meeting 2 weeks ago, he verbally did multiple times.
No, we were gonna look into it more, sorry. I'd rather have him give us his resignation in paper.
Okay. Mr. LaSalle's, is that good with you? First we'll get it in paper and then take action, or?
Well, we did discuss the issues with respect to the Conservation Commission. The Conservation Commission is also going to be electing officers.
So since we're heading down that path, we do have a non-public this evening under RSA 91A 32C reputation. Maybe it'd be best if we have this discussion
Okay,
under that topic.
all right, I'll withdraw
work
my
for you?
motion.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have appointments, boards, committees, and commissions. Mr. Brown.
All right, so you should be able to put together a spreadsheet here. I've been working with the committee chairs of all the boards and committees that have terms that are about to expire. Typically, at this meeting is when we, if people have expressed interest and we've received input from the committee chair, we'll consider reappointing for another term. Typically, those terms are 3 years, unless they're filling an expired term. Again, it's very important to point out that if for any reason you're the appointing authority, and even though we have a recommendation from the committee and the committee chair, it is ultimately your choice to make these appointments. But I can tell you that the slate that we have presented here this evening have all expressed interest to the committee chair that they serve on, and the committee chair has communicated to us that they'd like to see these individuals reappointed. So I can go through the list. And then I think the board can maybe make a motion to appoint, if you want to appoint them individually, or if you want to do a,
Let's look at them one-on-one. I mean, it's going to take a little bit longer, but it might be the easiest way to go, just in case if one or two stand out that we want to take different action on.
okay. So the Conservation Commission, Matt Lepore, it's a 3-year term to expire on March 31st, 2024. The alternate members on Conservation Commission is Marion Godzik and Andrew Thompson, both 3-year term to expire in the year 2024.
Are they going to the meetings too?
So Kevin, based off of your time on the conservation, your short-lived time, these individuals
Or are they? I
have
thought-
shown up
Yeah, I know that.
and
I
are
just-
participating and doing.
I just wanted to know before me if they were, because I wasn't there before.
No, it was.
I only had that one meeting.
Selectman Pinciero, then I was the year before that, I think.
Okay.
And I would say the year before that, Matt Lepore was always there.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Um,
He's not a
Marion
problem.
Godzik was
An alternate.
hit or miss. Andrew Thompson was hit or miss, but I'm going back 2 years ago when I sat on it.
Okay. They were there when I were at the meeting.
Mhm.
I saw that.
So what is the will of the board?
Let's go with it.
So we have a motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Larry, second by Mr. LaSalle's. Any discussion? All those in favor, Mr. Larry,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch,
Aye.
Ms. Queenan.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 500. Thank you to Matt Lepore, Marion Godzik, and Andrew Thompson for their continued service.
Okay, the next is the Heritage Commission. And just for, to point this out, that, again, this commission was newly formed last year. And for whatever reason, when we made the appointments, we didn't stagger the terms. I don't know why we did not do that. I think just because it was new and initially just trying to get it up and running. So what I'm proposing is we received input from 3 members that would like to be reappointed. I've staggered the terms so we can start getting that 3-year stagger in place. It's very important that you don't have changeover on the boards and commissions all at once. So Harry Menzigian, his term would expire March 31st, 2022. Carl Frank, March 31st, 2023. And Stephen Calloway on March 31st, 2024. And then we'll have a vacant position from the resignation we just accepted this evening.
Okay, Ms. Queenan and Mr. Farrell, based on your time on Heritage, are they good active members?
Was there. The
Engaged?
history of the town, yes.
Fantastic.
I'm the one that doesn't always make it.
You're busy at the State House.
Carl, I don't think has ever missed a meeting.
He's on the phone.
Oh,
I think,
hi,
yeah.
Carl.
There he is.
I'll make a motion that we accept all three members.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Larry,
I'll second it.
second by Mr. Lynch. Discussion.
Come on, cough, go away.
All those in favor, Mr. Larry,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch,
All right.
Ms. Queenan. I am also an aye. Motion carries 500.
Okay, Planning Board, these are two regular members, Joshua Smith and James Bofetti. Both would be a 3-year term expiring March 31st, 2024.
Thank you.
Make a motion.
So, Mr. Lynch, I think you agree with me that both of these members are almost always there at
Always
the
there,
planning and
always.
always participating in
Always.
conversation from the times that we've been there.
Yep.
So based on that, we have a motion by Mr. Lynch,
Make a motion, accept it.
motion by Mr. Lynch.
I'll second that.
We have a second by Ms. Queenan. Any discussion? All those in favor, Mr. Larry,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch,
All right.
Ms. Queenan.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 500.
Are we gonna have a member resigning from the planning board that just got elected to budget committee? Stevens?
Oh, yes. So does she have
I-
to resign?
No, I don't believe,
I already did.
No,
no,
Kate
Stevens.
Stevens.
No, so I don't-
Oh, that, I didn't know.
She-
No, that's
there's,
separate.
She doesn't have to?
there's no conflict.
Conflict then?
So
Oh,
on
great.
both?
If she had been elected as a selectman, then
It could be in both with conflict with that.
Really? Okay.
the Recreation Commission, we have 2 3-year terms. Chris Burns and Andy Ruggles, both expiring March 31st, 2024.
Based off of the Recreation Commission, these are two very active members within rec. Both were actually alternates. And they were, I don't think Mr. Ruggles has missed a meeting in almost 2 years. And if Mr. Burns missed more than 3, that'd be a lot. Both out there doing things with the rec and with beautification and all the other people. So they're actively involved in the community.
Make a motion to accept both members.
We have a motion by Mr.
Second.
Leary, second by Mr. LaSalle's. Any discussion? All those in favor, Mr. Leary,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch,
All right.
Ms. Queenan.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 500.
Zoning Board of Adjustment for a regular member, Laura Gandia would be up for a term to expire March 31st, 2024. An alternate member would be Thomas Cooney, and he would expire March 31st, 2024.
Motion approved.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Leary,
Second.
second by Mr. LaSalle's. Any further discussion? All those in favor, Mr. Leary,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch,
All right.
Ms. Queenan.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 500.
National Regional Planning Commission Board members, Kim Queenan, NRPC Commissioner, term to expire March 31st, 2024. And Michael Croto is an alternate member on the NRPC Commission as well.
Good with staying with that?
I'm, yeah. very
And
good.
have Michael
I'll make a
back up?
motion.
Oh, yeah,
Go
he's
with it
very good.
All right, great.
Did you make a motion?
I did, I'm making a motion.
Okay, motion by Mr. Lynch,
Second.
second by Mr. Larry. Any discussion? All those in favor, Mr. Larry,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch,
All right.
Ms. Queenan,
Do I abstain here?
if you choose.
Abstain. I can't vote for myself.
It's
Abstain.
I am an aye.
I could for
Motion
Michael,
carries
but not for
4-0.
myself.
I think you can only do that on the school board.
Abstain.
Motion carries.
All right, and so the next two here, just realize we'll be talking about our fire chief and the forest fire warden, an extension of the contract. So the information I have here just caught is incorrect. But the fire chief, Frank Freitzel, and he also serves as a forest fire warden, and he would be appointed to both those positions with a term to expire on December 31st, 2021.
Okay.
Typo, huh?
What's that?
Typo?
Minor.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept
The
the
change.
fire chief and the fire warden with the change term expiring 3/31,
Uh,
12/31/21.
We have a motion by Mr. Larry,
Second,
second by Mr. LaSalle's. Any discussion? All those in favor, Mr. Larry,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's,
aye.
Mr. Lynch,
Aye.
Ms. Queenan.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 500.
And Deborah Hogenkamp is our town treasurer. Board is an appointed position now. This would be another 3-year term to expire March 31st, 2024.
I move to accept Deborah Hogenkamp.
We have a
I'll
motion
second
by Mr. LaSalle's, a second by
Second.
Mr. Lynch. Any further discussion? All those in favor, Mr. Larry,
Am I allowed to vote aye? She's technically my brother's girlfriend, significant other. Should I abstain or
That's not a legal matter.
whatever you'd like.
it's
That's a
not?
good one.
Okay, then I
No
vote
problem.
aye.
Okay, Mr. LaSalle's.
She's my barber.
She missed the spot.
Yeah, I'll
wanna keep
I'll
you
vote
here.
aye.
Mr. Lynch,
I got no choice.
Ms. Queenan.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 500.
Okay, so the town treasurer actually appoints her deputy,
Deputy,
but
that's
we confirm that appointment. So I'd ask for a confirmation of Sharon Harding Reed as the deputy town treasurer. The term to expire March 31st, 2024.
That's who she appointed?
Yes,
Thank you.
so we just vote
Make
to
a motion?
confirm. Yep.
To accept.
We have a motion by Mr. Larry,
Aye.
second by Mr. LaSalle's. Any further discussion? All those in favor, Mr. Larry,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch,
Aye.
Ms. Queenan.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 500.
Questions on this one?
Well, this one, I was just going to point it out. I was going to point it out to you, but Troy Brown, the zoning administrator, I've been appointed off and on over the last few years. I thought it'd be easier to appoint me as a term to March 31st, 2024. And then with a note acknowledging that once we have someone on board and doing the duties, that I resign and then we'll appoint that person to serve as the zoning. But if you're more comfortable doing a 6-month appointment and you want to make that December 31st, 2021, I'm fine with that. I didn't want to do like a 3-month.
The only thing that I would say to that is instead of, if we get somebody on board, instead of having you resign, having you become an alternate because we know you're going to come back on again.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, history has.
that
been
might be a
repeating
good
itself.
thing to do, actually.
So we can make him zoning administrator / alternate.
Yeah.
That being said, I'll make a motion in that regard.
We have a motion by Mr. Larry.
Second.
We have a second by Ms. Queenan. Any further discussion?
He's like a boomerang.
It's one of those jobs that you really love.
All those in favor, Mr. Larry,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch,
Aye.
Ms. Queenan.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 500. Bear with me for a second.
Patrick.
Yeah, I have my window closed with the agenda.
You want to come on?
Nope, I'm back. Thanks.
I just wanted to say that once during my term.
Geez, Bob, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
My life is complete.
Next is the plow truck, Mr. Brown.
Okay. Our road agent, Kevin Brown, has reached out to McMulkin Chevrolet trying to secure a plow truck, the same type that we purchased last year. This is the same vendor that provided us that truck last year. They do have, these trucks are not easy to find, especially with COVID going on right now. Things are not, whatever's on the lot is going quickly. Kevin was over there taking a look at the truck. They have one. It's a standard cab, which is, the only standard cab they have. And this one actually has a dump body on it. They, just a verbal agreement that they're holding this for the town. The purchase price of the truck and the dump body is $62,360. This represents their municipal discount price. So if we're looking to have the board authorize us, like we have, like our police cruisers and stuff, to go and secure the truck. There's a lot of work that goes into getting the truck here to the town, getting it, the plow equipment ordered, and then getting it fitted up. Last year, we made the purchase of the truck about this time and the plow equipment, but we didn't receive the truck until after the second storm. So, this is it's a good competitive price, and we know the truck is there on the lot. We have the same to report with one of the plow equipment companies where they can fit this truck up. They believe they'll have it all done by July 1st. So it's kind of a package deal that we're looking here.
That would really help, because I think the last one, we had a truck go down and luckily that one was ready that day.
This is the one that was approved, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, just because somebody will ask me. Very well.
Do we have any questions?
I'll move to authorize the purchase of a 2020 Chevy Silverado medium-duty truck with a dump body from McMulkin Chevrolet.
I'll second it.
You want the rest of the motion?
Include in that plow and everything.
Keep it.
And snow plow wing and sand salter from HP Fairfield in the amount of $37,811. And further to waive purchasing policy requirements in accordance with section 9 exemptions. Now,
like how they go.
Okay, next. Well, he stalled there for a second
I
there.
have a motion by Mr. Lynch.
Second.
We have a second by Mr.
I
LaSalle's.
didn't read that part.
Do we have any further discussion? All those in favor, Mr. Leary,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch,
Aye.
Ms. Queenan.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 500. The next item is recycling building roof. Mr. Brown.
So Dave Mellon last year about this time was looking at replacing the roof down at the recycling building's roof. He thinks it's original about 1986 is his best guess. But then the COVID hit and he just decided, let's just put it on hold. We'll revisit this next year. So over the last couple of weeks, he's been collecting quotes. He's received 3. My roof came in the lowest at $14,100. Lane Roofing, so I think the 15,450 was the next quote, and this was from Smith. Brian Smith Carpentry, the amount of 15,450, and Lane Roofing was 15,570. All 3 of these contractors, excellent contractors. No reason to believe that any one of them couldn't do the job and do a good, outstanding quality workmanship. But with that being said, because they're all excellent contractors, I should recommend that we go with the lowest bidder. And it's not a bidder, these are quotes.
That's Dave's recommendation.
Dave was fine. He knows that either one of these contractors can do the job and do a great job.
Now, this is just replacing the shingle.
So we're gonna strip the roof. Hopefully, we don't have to replace any plywood. Shouldn't have to because the building's not heated, so there really shouldn't be any rot. He is gonna put ice shield on the roof, 6 feet up, just in case someday down the road the building's heated or something changes. The ice shield will be there. The soffits are gonna be changed out and the trim board and the soffits will be changed to PVC or vinyl. So there will be no more release up on the roof part. There'll be vinyl or PVC. No paint.
It's cheaper than wood now.
Yes.
Ridiculous.
And this quote, I did confirm, iRoof was quoting a shingle that was a 50-year warranty shingle.
When it used to be in town, they moved out.
Oh, I thought they were still in town.
The owner lives in town.
Yeah, the owner.
Oh, the owner
The
lives-
office is in Hudson.
Brian Smith lives in town as well. I don't know about Lane Roofing, but
A little farther north here. That name came up, the reason why Lane, because Lane did the rubber membrane roof at the rec hall.
Oh, really?
That's why, okay,
Huh?
that took a specialty.
So very important to point out here that the funds that we'll be using to pay for this will come for the recycling revolving fund. So 100% from that fund. This is the recycling building, so all the fees that we charge go into the fund. So this is not an impact to the operating budget.
great.
That's good. That's very good. Okay, do we have a motion?
I move we accept the lowest bid for the recycling roof.
We have a motion by Mr. LaSalle's.
I'll second it.
We have a second by Mr. Lynch. All those in favor, Mr. Larry,
All right,
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch,
Aye.
Ms. Queenan?
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 500. Next is the 2021 paving program. Mr. Brown.
Timber harvest.
Oh, I missed the timber harvest.
I actually found
Thank
something
you.
missing.
It's kind of put together with the transfer station. It's okay.
All right, we're on timber harvest. So last Friday I met with, this goes back, I don't know, last fall, when Seth Miller was working with the board on getting that right-of-way dedicated so he could use it as access to his lot. And he was using Hopkinton Forestry and Land Clearing to do the work. At that point in time, I approached that company and asked them to take a look at the transfer facility highway garage property. There was a couple of things that I wanted to accomplish, was to get the land cleared for no cost to the town. Primarily was to get that frontage of the property that we purchased and the land that we own, so that we could maybe start working to try to improve the sight distance as you're coming out of the recycling highway garage facility. And second, we had the issue with the clear span building down at the highway garage, and there was some concerns about snow accumulating between the spans. And it was pointed out that if maybe we could remove some of the big trees that were around there, that could open it up for some sunlight, and it would melt the snow and ice, and it would just, the next day after a snowstorm, it would just literally kind of fall off the building. So I reached out to this company and I brought it to the board's attention, and we were all good to go with it, but for whatever reason, the forester never showed up. Well, the other day called, kind of explained what their work schedule was like and some things that he personally went through with COVID and some other unexpected things. So they're good to go. We had some issues with some of the areas that are wet. And he had arranged to have the state forester meet us on site down there last Friday. One of the state foresters that was on our video conference talking about the trails here. So we walked the site. Everything was good. We have a written correspondence that no permits are required. The work that we're setting out to do is fine. We're just going to be doing more of a limited harvest around the areas of concern where there's some slopes. They'll have an excavator where they just kind of reach out as far as they can and grab the trees and pull them back. So that way, really won't be any impact to the wet areas, and any of the slope areas, we won't be damaging the slope and causing erosion concerns. So, but everything's changed in the market. There's kind of not the amount of timber that he thought he was going to be able to harvest from the property. And it's kind of limited logs that he's going to get, some firewood, and then most of it's going to be wood chip. So he wanted to have a fee of $2,500 to help with mobilization. I kind of was like, well, I thought we were going to do this for no cost to the town. And he went back to his manager and they came back and said, yeah, if we could share the cost of mobilization, $1,250. So, but for $1,250, you get this land cleared. Now the next step would be removing the stumps and doing that excavation work along Hillcrest. And then if you hear any rumors about me talking to staff, that once this is cleared, we kind of see what kind of land we have. The land's, once it's opened up, you're going to see it's not level. It's pretty sloped and pretty wet. But one of the thoughts I had was that, we may, once we open it up and get our site distance work done, we may want to consider reaching out to these solar power companies and maybe consider seeing if we can install some solar panels at that land and, try to reduce our energy costs. It could be a good little location for a solar field.
Depending on how many we can get in, yeah.
Yeah, I
We'll
mean,
at least run
it all
solid waste
depends
off
on
it.
footprint of what they can put in, but
You get it off of the road going in there, you come into it from that side.
Yeah.
And there's two culverts, there's a culvert that's plugged on Hillcrest Road, causes the water. to go
yeah,
down.
it's all wet. It's not,
Because the gentleman plugged it across the street years ago.
yeah. But anyhow,
Like
this
that.
work, this work right now, looks like they could have a John Deere skidder delivered this week and things could start happening next week.
Now, is there any way of getting some of these wood chips and maybe using them for the rec department down at Dara? Because I think if you look at
No,
their
you
budget,
wouldn't want to, because, playground wood chips, a special grade, and it's actually a certified wood chip.
kid cushion,
Yeah.
even come by
It's safe.
special
It's a
name.
certain diameter, everything about it's for safety. But I will tell you that the plan is, when you go into the highway garage, that land on the left, that will be cleared. So there's not, we're clear cutting it and we're going to open it up. And then Dave's going to work on, once we get it opened up, I talked to Dave, we're going to try to fix the chain link fence. A tree fell on it. We're going to try to fix that up, do some plantings. And like I said, we could, if there's interest, we could approach some of these solar companies and see if there's something we can do to maybe have a solar facility there that could help reduce the cost, at the very least, to run the highway garage and the recycling facility.
You're referring to the west side of the dome back there, get some of those trees off that bank, that's what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it's going to be, that was the one slope area the state forester was kind of concerned about. So we'll get the bigger trees out of there, but there'll be some
Well,
trees left
Because
for
that's,
erosion.
that's the issue with that building is it's actually faced north-south and you got east-west. The east side has been, is a dawn issue. The west side, you can't get the sunlight onto it because of the way it works.
And we were there Friday. There was snow along the bottom of the building.
Oh, yeah. right
And
on
everything
both
else,
sides.
there was no snow anywhere else, but it's shaded there.
Well, cut the trees, top of the hill, all the way down.
So do you need a motion from us to expend 1,250 or?
No.
No,
Just
no, that's,
information.
I just wanted to make you aware because, trees are going to start coming down here pretty soon.
At least we know that's happening.
Where's the 1,250 gonna come from?
We'll take it from, our building maintenance
Yep.
lines.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Next is the 2021 paving program. Mr. Brown.
So I also spent some time with Road Agent Brown Friday after we walked the site there and met with the forester, and he had some concerns with with our paving program that we had planned for this year. The concern is really two sections of road that we were not planning on doing work. And also down at the recycling facility. So we were looking at doing Page Road, Laurel Street, Birch Street, Sparrow Lane, Pheasant Lane, Aaron Way, Cranberry Lane. Aaron Way and Cranberry Lane were done last year. And these very, very limited traffic on these two roads. So we were going to go in there and put down the final wearing course. But again, Cranberry Lane, the section that we'd be doing is a cul-de-sac, it's dead end. So you've probably got 6 or 8 homes down there. And Aaron Way is a very small street connecting, I think it's Page Road to Cranberry. So we were thinking about trying to defer that work for a year or maybe 2 and redirect some funding to Pilgrim Drive and a section of Brenton Street. Pilgrim is all patched up, but it's in pretty rough shape. One section of Pilgrim was rebuilt a couple years ago, and the other section, needs an overlay, and you can see it. Brenton, we did a section last year, and we'd like to do another a section. And Brenton should be in pretty good shape after that. Pilgrim will be in good shape. Recycling Way coming in from Hillcrest, there is a section that was overlaid before my time, but you can tell that it was overlaid. But what I'd like to do is once this timber harvest is over, we can do the whole section. We'd go into the parking lot. This is something that Dave's been asking for. It's in the CIP plan. And we'd continue into the highway garage, but we would terminate it before you actually enter the highway garage major parking lot. So it's just the roadway to, where those
Sheds.
the gas pumps or
Yep.
those, we're not going to get into the parking lot.
Nope.
I don't know what the cost is for these 3 projects, but I know that we've identified some other sources of funding. All along, we had the block grant at $190,000. We encumbered $50,000, and the warrant article was approved at $100,000. So additional funding that we could utilize would be impact fees in the amount of $50,000. That would be solely for Page Road. There's certain roads that we can use impact fees for, and one of them is Page. And the other one is the recycling fund. We could use the recycling fund, I was thinking right around $20,000 to put towards the parking lot. So I guess what I wanted to do is to sort of feel the board out and to see what your thoughts were, because we're at where the weather's quickly changing. I'd like to be able to approach Continental Paving, kind of bounce this new scope of work off them and see what they can do for pricing. And if it's good and I can do it within budget with these revenue sources, if Continental Paving is ready to start work a week and a half from now before our next meeting, I'd like to be able to authorize that.
I know last year they did it really early for us. They got out there and hit it early on.
The prices on the roads that we were planning to do, I had Continental Paving give me a quote. So those are actual quotes. Page Road, Laurel Street, Birch Street, Sparrow Lane, and Pheasant Lane. Those are actuals.
My only concern would be changing the scope of work that was approved by the voters. So removing those 2 streets and adding a couple others. Kind of don't have a good feeling about that.
It's just, I know, I don't like to do it either, but I know that, if you drove down Pilgrim, you would see it's in bad shape. And the patch that we're putting in there it's not sticking. It just keeps coming up with any heavy rain.
Now, how is this outlined on the CIP?
Well, these streets that I'm talking about, Pilgrim and Brenton, I think they're just being moved up, but those were high priorities in and the recycling way is in the CIP plan, but I'm not sure if it's out, how far out it was.
It's taken a hit just recently. Last couple of years, the driveway going in is the worst part of cycling way.
Is it my eyes or is Pilgrim misspelled?
It is.
It is.
Somebody doesn't have spell check.
How about if you reached out to Continental and showed them all the roads and let's see what the total value comes in at? Then we can go back,
Yeah, I mean, I can,
take a look.
and the other thing is some of the roads that, well, they go fast, you know, the big projects are, Birch, you see Birch Street.
Yep.
That's when they're gonna come in, they're gonna do the reclamation, they're
Mhm.
gonna rototill it all up, along with Birch, I believe. So those are the two big construction ones.
So we're really blind until Continental gives us a price for those 3 streets anyways, because they could come in way over budget.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is that I'd be able to, if the board's comfortable with this approach and the funding sources that, I could then work with Kevin and try to do the best we can with what we have.
Why don't we get the next 3 quotes, then get those in here too, so we have a better number.
And maybe if,
What are you looking to?
maybe take some more out of the unexpended funds to do them. Because again, I have a problem with going against, changing
Yeah,
what the
I
voters
know.
approved.
How are we looking at impact fees? Only road we can use them first page? Is that because of the development that went in on page?
Yeah, so, it's your primary roads,
Yep.
that the impact fees are collected for, so. So those are,
So
your
that can
impact
be used
fees,
for recycling.
you're gonna be sitting here, maybe if you're lucky, in the fall, and we'll have the remainder of Firefly and anything left from Weatherstone.
Question,
About 2,000, depending on the house and stuff, about 2,000, $2,500, $2,800 per house
Rouse?
for road
The
impact.
road.
the road
It's
section.
what, 14 going in on Firefly?
Some of this money that we've collected is Firefly.
Oh, some is already.
Some of it, yeah.
Recycle way, or recycle, what do we call it? That's a road. Why can't the impact fee be used for that? Because it's not listed?
It's
Been there a long
not,
time.
yeah, so what I've been told is Page, Talent, Albuquerque,
Hillcrest?
Pinecrest,
Not Hillcrest.
not Hillcrest.
Pinecrest.
Warning, all those.
Corning would be, those are your,
Talent, yeah.
I don't know what they call them, collector roads or,
Primary roads.
it's your primary roads.
That's a primary
So-
weekend resort.
So basically, the impact fee is because you build a subdivision or something, the impact's gonna be on our primary roads, not the side streets.
This is not on the paving subject, but within the realm of streets, I got a complaint from a citizen that the Buckley trash truck is leaking fluid, hydraulic fluid and engine oil, whatever, on the streets, and particularly in the area of Aaron Drive and Tanager Way. I drove on the roads, and I mean, you can see there's drops on the road, where I guess it's particularly when they run the hydraulics is when you see this leakage. And this citizen said that he had taken pictures and so forth, but I haven't seen that. But have you heard anything?
Yeah, so I've been contacted by that citizen as well. This citizen has submitted complaints over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I have spoke to Buckley, each time the complaints come in. And unfortunately, there's a couple of things that happen. One, they can break a hydraulic hose out there in the field and
Everybody else.
it happens. And they do use the speedy dry and do the best they can to clean it up. The other thing is, the trash trucks themselves, when they have liquids in them, they can leak. And when you get into periods of wet weather, or the example that was just recently given to me was because there was a lot of snow and ice mixed in with stuff, and we had the warm up that created some liquid. But with that being said, I also contacted New Hampshire DES and was directed to the Solid Waste Regulatory Division. And that person was very prompt, and he personally contacted Buckley and had a conversation with them. And also, I don't know, but was definitely coming down to do an inspection.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so, the state inspector was, again, going to just talk about best management practices to Buckley and making sure he's aware of the concerns, and we start to monitor it.
Happened on Heron Drive, if I recall. They came out of the tangent way down through there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have gone up there too. I mean, I've seen it, and I've seen, the spotting. At this point in time, I don't see there being physical damage to our road. Unsightly, yes. I mean, unfortunately, the truck picked up a paint can the other day, and so white paint on top of the, concerns of the hydraulic oils and stuff, white paint was dripped on the road too, so,
It wasn't
which is
me.
really
They didn't put it on the line, did they?
It wasn't me.
but it is something I'm aware of, and
People do throw things away
following.
also, things they shouldn't throw away, and once that thing closes on them and presses them,
It gets a little squishy in there.
if it's a quart of oil or any kind of fluid, it's gonna come through the
Have
body
we
of the
heard
truck.
complaints of any other of the trash companies?
No, in fact, this is the only complaint that I've ever received.
I know in Milford, when I was there, we used to have these type of complaints, okay, with the trash trucks, where they get in there and they used to pop a can
Yep.
on the hydraulic or with the hydraulic things, everything breaks.
Yep.
Okay, and they just do their best, like you said, go in and clean it up. They call the health department. You know, they had to go and look around. When I was here, we had 2 or 3 like that where it wasn't per se hydraulic fluid or anything like that. It was something that was put in there, antifreeze, waste oil, okay? And you see that brown strip? You see that brown strip going up the road and it seems to go? That's not a leak coming from a vehicle per se. It's coming from what was in the container
Something with
going
it.
out there, some of that, and eventually it won't come off of a mile down the road. You see it starting to flow out. And it washes off pretty good in a heavy rain. I'll let that stay the way it is. It happens a lot with them.
Okay, so you're gonna work with the road agent in Continental and come back with the numbers?
Yep.
Right.
We'll have solid
Thank you.
numbers, but at least it's a good icebreaker. You kind of see what we're
Good
looking to
number,
see if we
James.
can do. I don't know if we can do it, but we could. That'd be great.
See how
How many,
creative we
if we don't do these other streets that you put in there, where are they on your master plan for being repaved or being?
Well, the ones that we presented to the citizens this year.
Yeah.
This is in line with
Yeah,
the
all those.
CIP plan.
Yeah.
This was the roads that were supposed to be done in this year.
And that was all based off the NRPC evaluation they did of all our roads.
But as far as Pilgrim and.
So
Brenton
Pilgrim,
and
Brenton, and Recycling Way were not scheduled for this year, but they're
Next year.
on
or
the 6-year plan. I don't know if it was next year. I think Brenton and Pilgrim were in 2023.
2023.
Right now,
Three or two.
Pilgrim's got a soft spot in one area. That's what we're dealing with now.
Yeah.
3A, one of those dirt.
All right, thank you. Seeing that it's 7:33, I'd like to open up for public input. Do we have any members of the public joining us this evening that would like to provide input?
Chair, I don't see anybody coming off mute. So no members of the public.
Thank you, Mr. Vernell. Hearing none, we will close public input. Next is the town administrator report. Mr. Brown.
I just wanted to point out that I have a contract extension for our fire chief. I've worked with the fire chief and our legal counsel. This contract extension would take the current contract, which is expiring March 31st, and extend it till December 31st, 2021. This would allow the town selectmen and the fire chief to sit down and renegotiate the terms and conditions of his contract. So we kind of got caught with town meeting and election stuff and didn't have time to sit down with the chief and work out those details. So this would, I just accomplish that, and that's what the board had agreed to at our last meeting. So just wanted to make sure you're all good with it, and just authorized me to go ahead and sign it.
That was the motion that was made for us to do it anyhow.
Thank you.
And the other things, so the Pinecrest sidewalk application was submitted last week. Jay Mankara worked with the planning board, worked with me, and put together the application, submitted it. Working with the town engineer, the cost estimate came in a little higher than what he was anticipating. So I think the whole project is right around $675,000. So, the good news is that if that's approved, you're obviously only going to be obligated to expend what the actual bid price comes in at. So but it's better to be conservative and be on the high side and make sure you secure all 80% of those federal funds than to be low and have to make up the difference 100% just town funds. I think the seven communities that submitted applications, I think there's only one that will be selected. So
Okay.
Do you
we'll
know
see.
when the
It's a
award
very
date's coming
competitive,
around?
very, very competitive process. But, Jay seemed to be pretty positive. It's a straightforward project. We own the land. We're committed to, at least trying to secure funding. I think we have demonstrated that we can maintain a multi-purpose path. We've done that in this town, done a great job at it, and that's one of the things they look at as well. They don't want to build something and the town not maintain it. And so we'll see. There we go. The process will be, I think it will go through a process now of over 6 months of different reviews and approval.
So that would run from Middle School Road up to
So-
Albuquerque.
It would go on Pinecrest, it would actually, the proposal is to connect to the existing sidewalk, which terminates, I believe, at Hildreth, and it would then proceed all the way to Albuquerque. So just really, just a report, I don't want the board to think that, I've forgotten about all this stuff, but really this month would be a big catch-up month for me. Building inspector, long overdue, Kevin and Bob, both been appointed by this board to sit with me. Deputy Doug Nichols agreed that he would sit in and participate. So this week, I'll be communicating with you. We're going to secure a date and time to get the interviews going. Also, this board had acted on becoming a Purple Heart community probably 3 months ago, and I have not done anything with that. So we'll dig up the information that's required for this board to sign, or whatever administrative work is required, and get that moving. And I think that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Selectmen reports, Ms. Queenan.
As far as planning board and NRPC, you brought up the Pinecrest sidewalk grant. We're working on finalizing the community facilities chapter by putting the SIP results into that chapter. We're also starting to talk about solar power regulations and maybe a master plan chapter on energy, since wind power might be following that as well. Let's see, the only closing thing I'll say for the Heritage Commission is we still have to meet with you and John Brunel. I'll hand it off to whoever is going to take over about all the documents and photographs of where they're going to be stored. I know it's the
Okay.
cloud, but we have to hand that off. Let's see, as far as NRPC, I just wanted the board to know that they had an audit done. Their accountants were a firm called Plosick and Sanderson, PA. They've done over 300 audits, and they said NRPC came in number 1 or 2. They could get everything they needed. The history was there, and they came on the phone specifically to tell Jay Mancaro what a great job he's done running the
Good.
place.
Great.
And that's it.
Question, Kim, and I probably should know the answer to this, but I don't. The worker's house at,
Yeah.
that's,
Wilson's?
at Wilson's.
Yeah.
Why did they tear that down?
I don't have an answer of why they did that. I don't know.
I can honestly tell you the inside of that house was,
Trashed.
it was lived in, okay? It used to be, as Stephen Calloway said, when it was a Ford farm, there used to be a stand. There was never a basement underneath it, it was just a crawl space.
Mhm.
And you saw no foundation, it was just, even then, there was no block to speak of. It was in poor shape, and why fix it up? It's right next to the road, and they're not doing what they, today, the workers they have don't really live there. They were trucked in every day, or they drive in.
Yep.
Okay, they do own the brick house still, and they got their foremans there and a few others. And the manufactured home out back has been there since I can remember. It's the same one, and that one was just storage. Okay, no one really lived there for a long, long time. Okay,
And the Heritage Commission did document that and photographed it
Yeah.
before it came down. But I don't have a reason they don't say on the demolition permit.
I'm just curious. From the outside, it didn't look like
just,
look bad.
it's just
It was lived in,
it was lived,
as Kevin said.
like, trying to be politically correct.
When was it erected, originally?
I could look it up if
It's
you give
not
me a
very
sec. I
old.
have that.
I mean, it's not that big a deal,
Back in the
but
fifties, I think it was.
Yeah, because it was a
I'd
stand.
have to look it up on the write-up. I can dig it up
Okay.
for you.
It was in the fifties sometime.
I pay the taxes if it's bad shape.
Mm.
After the house burnt, they,
Mhm.
it was just sold, because there used to be a big Victorian house down there. That went up, and saying they would dig Campbell's old house, that one too was Victorian where the barn was.
Okay, from a Recreation Commission, I don't have an update. The last meeting was election night, and I was at the polls working. And the next meeting is tomorrow evening.
Well, we ought to get something next week.
Budget Committee, I think, is meeting Thursday, if I'm not mistaken.
In the cycle, huh?
Back in the saddle. Again, I'm sorry, Andrew.
Mr. Lynch.
The Conservation Commission met, minor stuff going on. I'm still learning the politics of it. Let it go at that, and they had a good meeting. So I don't know exactly the whole criteria. I don't recall right now.
Okay.
Apologize. I didn't get the minutes.
Mr. LaSalle's.
I have nothing to report.
Okay, thank you. Since we had no other business added this evening, we do have 2 non-public sessions this evening. One is under RSA 91A:32A, employee compensation. The other one is under RSA 91A:32C, reputation. Do we have a motion to go into non-public?
So move.
We have a motion by Mr. LaSalle's.
Second,
We have a second by Mr. Lynch.
And we're gonna add the other one that we were talking about earlier.
Yes, I'm going to do that one under reputation also.
Yep.
Roll call vote. Ms. Queenan.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Mr. Larry.
All right,
Mr. Lynch.
aye.
Mr. LaSalle's.
Aye.
The board is now entering non-public While we do not anticipate the need to return to a public session following the non-public session for any reason other than to adjourn the meeting, we reserve the right to do so if the non-public session necessitates the board taking action in a public session. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful evening.
Say hello to Matt, Ben, and Troy.
Yep,
They've been watching all night.
always
You
there, our
people-
supporters in the background.
You need another life.
Chief, go put your kids to bed.